Yeah.
You're funny.
But it wasn't making any noise.
See, there's my bride.
Oh, are you live?
Oh yeah, we're live. Yeah. Nobody's clocked in yet.
That's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good morning. It is Monday, June 20th, 9:37 p.m.
AM.
AM.
Apparently we're doing night cast now.
Well, we were up late last night watching Stranger Things. So I don't know. We slept well. And there was no school this morning. So that's why she's here. First day of summer.
First day of summer. That doesn't mean anything.
Even though she
I'm training for summer school tomorrow. So 1 day of summer. Yes.
Yeah. So good morning, Rob. All right. So let's see. Yeah. Now Mitch will get 100 views today. Because the popular episodes or the popular episode
like I've been on multiple episodes.
The one with her, yeah. Let's see. So
awesome.
Over the weekend, well, it was Father's Day weekend. So I hope fathers had a good time. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get to birthdays first. I'm going to start out with birthdays first because there were birthdays over the weekend. And
what's that mean?
Let's see.
Don't you get it?
I know the first one was so on the 18th was Gianluca from Italy. He's Gianluca is Mark Klein's top student in Italy. He was 50. He turned 50 years old.
Okay, why you gotta tell people's age? Just say happy birthday.
Because he's a dude. Who really cares?
It's not anybody's business. Not anybody's business.
What? That you're 50 as well?
I am 25. Don't put my business out there. This might be the last episode with husband and wife.
Okay, so if she's 25, that makes me a Catholic priest.
Catholic priest like boys.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
Good try though.
All right.
Oh, you know what? That's not appropriate. That's not appropriate. Cut. Rewind.
Yeah, can't rewind on that one. And then a buddy of mine from high school. He was a year behind me, but Jamal, his birthday was on the 18th as well. And I guess that's all. I swore I had more birthdays to go over. And there's no birthdays today. We got a birthday tomorrow, but no birthdays today. Let me go on to my calendar. Is there what other birthdays? Why does it say? Nope, that's next week. Oh, yesterday, Zoe Saldana, her birthday was yesterday. Internet says that she's 44. People don't know who she is. She is Uhura in the Kelvin universe. And she also plays a bunch of other characters. Can't remember that the character she plays in Marvel. Is she the green character? I can't remember. Looks how much I pay attention.
Wow, you're.
I know. Okay, so now that we've gotten those out of the way, because I forget. And then because I didn't do birthdays on Friday either. But then again, I didn't have any birthdays.
She was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. See? Okay. I tell you. See, that's what I keep her around for. She's all right. So if you're watching, please say hi. Now, just as a reminder, this is live at 9:30 in the morning, not at 9:30 at night. So if you're saying hi and we don't respond, it's because this is a 9:30 in the morning show. So yesterday for Father's Day, I spent several hours of it with my daughter going to a convention. And so Alexa and I went to SummerCon in up in Puyallup, which is really funny. You would think what actually happens in Puyallup. But there's been this con that's been happening. Apparently this was the 4th year, but and I want to say, and I learned about it after the fact, but apparently like what was it? Katie Sackhoff was there last year. There were a couple of big names last year. This year they had Ian McDermott, who is the Emperor, and they actually had kind of like a special Imperial thing because they had Ian McDermott and Ray Park, so who plays Darth Maul. Anyway, so they were there, but I went for Shatner, and we get up there. He was a Sunday only thing, so I get up there for and they give us this, you go in, you get your little lanyard. I picked up like a little weekend thing that had like a schedule, and it didn't really tell you anything that was pertinent at all. So we tracked down the information booth, and they're like, oh yeah, well he's going to be so popular that we put him in a whole different building. So instead of like 2 buildings, this was in 3 buildings. So we had to, hike all the way to this furthest building. And let's just say this, with the communication that was going on in the organization, I was not very impressed with. But while we're standing there in line to pay for an autograph, once we kind of got the information that we needed, I look over and I see a friend of mine who is the husband of one of Lisa's friends, just kind of standing there on the other side, because he actually paid for the VIP tickets. So he's I see him and I call him and I'm like, Russell, is that you? So he got his autograph, and then he's like, I'm going to go and stand in line for the photo. And we had already, like the whole reason I was up there, because I paid for the photo op and, tried to get the autograph, but it was all Group B. So Group B is, we're kind of, like Team B, not VIP, not anything. So our photo op was like at 3 p.m. and this is like 10. This is like 10 o'clock in the morning. And we found out that Alexa had to be back. We didn't find out. We already knew that she had to be back, or wanted to be back down into Vancouver at 4. And of course, Puyallup is a 2-hour drive at least away. So when we were talking to Russell, he's like, I don't really care about my photo, but I can have up to 4 people in a photo. And we had already paid for ours. So, I knew that, but he's like, why don't you just hang out in mine if you don't mind the 3 of us being in a photo together? I'm like, shit, I don't care. So, long story short, we, since he was at the first, he was the first person to get his stuff signed by Shatner. So then he goes and stands in line at the photo op. And then we were like almost the last people to get signed. And so then we just stood next to him, got our photos, and then we were pretty much able to do whatever we needed to do from there. So it was actually really, really cool. The cool thing about the Shatner thing, and I don't know if this was him or if this was just the organizers, I think it was pretty much him, because the organizers were like, well, you may not be able to get a signature now because his flight was late. So of course he shows up late. So he started signing late. Therefore, everything was set. Everything was behind schedule. So we had, what was it? But he signed all the VIPs and all the I'll say the lower class people in Group B. He got everybody who was standing in line. Everybody got their signature, and everybody got time with him. I mean, now they were kind of rushing people through, but I did get to give him my neck pinch book. I know it's probably some, just regular pleasantries of, oh, that's really cool. I'm going to read this during lunch. So I don't really know if he was going to read it during lunch. It is what it is. But I was able to do that. And, but he got everybody signed, and then apparently he got, all the pictures done. And when we got our pictures, there was already a short line for, photo ops, but, so we got our pictures, and then, but the line for photo ops was super, super long. So like, at least for Group A photo ops. So Group B photo ops was at 3. I think I mentioned that. So we would have been there. Yeah, we would have been there all day. So, so when we actually, so we get our photo done, and we get back to, we usually they do the photo and they start printing, and you just kind of stand there and you wait for your photo to be printed. And then if you want extra photos, you pay whatever. Well, they were in such a rush. They were just like, look, because he was going to do autographs, photo op, and then do a panel. And so they were trying to rush him to the panel because, of course, he's already behind schedule. So, I was like, are there, how much does it cost for extra photos? Because it was my buddy, technically it was my buddy Russell's photo. And they're like, well, if you want an extra photo, you just email us and we'll just send it to you in a digital format. And that's free. I'm like, so no extra. And they're like, nope. And he says, and they'll be ready after the panel, the pictures. So I was like, oh, okay. And Russell reminded me, he's like, look, I don't need my photo. I'll just get the digital photo so you guys can have the hard copy. I was like, okay. So we left. We want, they said they'll be ready later. So we walk off. We found Timothy Zahn that was there, who wrote the original sequel trilogy before Disney fucked everything up, and the creator of Thrawn. So I brought my, who knew that he did all of his signatures for free and his photo ops for free. And this one gal had, there were people who had multiple books that he was just signing all the books. So who knew? I could have brought all my Timothy Zahn books. Not that I have a lot. I have the original trilogy that, that came back, that came out in the what is it? The 90s, the late 80s. I can't remember. And then the first Thrawn book. So I brought the first Thrawn book. I brought the first Thrawn book from the new series. So he signed that. Really nice guy. I got a photo op with him. It was really cool. So, yes, I would go. There are some things in the trilogy that I didn't like. The main thing was, and I didn't understand, which was, I guess, because it takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi, and basically in that trilogy establishes that the Force ghosts just can't hang out forever. So they like he had Luke was trying to learn as much about the Force as possible because Obi-Wan wasn't going to be able to visit him very often. However, they do establish Mara Jade and Thrawn and all the really cool shit that that the expanded universe of Star Wars had to offer. So, my first sip of the tea. This is really good. It is.
Okay. Whatever makes you happy.
Can you believe her?
Really? It's 10 o'clock in the morning.
It is.
So that's what you get.
Yeah. So they had it was really funny because we were walking through the main hall, and we see there was this booth where you could take a picture of yourself with an owl or a kangaroo, like a baby kangaroo. And it was like 40, and they were mainly promoting the whole thing with the owls. So I was like, ooh, if Alexa had dressed up as somebody from, what do you call it? Harry Potter, she could have her picture with an owl. That okay, actually.
So what's the kangaroo?
Fuck, I don't know. Maybe if, you're dressed up as Steve Irwin or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, so funny thing, I go now when I purchase, I'm standing in line to purchase the autograph. Okay. We're standing there, and that's when Shatner comes in. So I was standing like right there when he walks in. It was really cool. And I shot video, and of course Lisa catches it when I was showing her on screen. But and I honestly, I didn't realize I had done it, but I knew that I had done it. Is that when he came in and he walked by, I yelled, "Captain on the bridge." Isn't that the geekiest thing in the world?
A nerd. Thank goodness he was with his daughter, because she's the only one that would be like ignoring him, and not embarrassed.
So, or
she didn't hear him.
And then, and I kind of wish that she had, because she's got to have the experience too of meeting him and talking to him. So I didn't really want her to necessarily be recording, but it would have been cool to have pictures or recording of him signing and a little conversation. But as we walked away, I was like, Denny Crane. And Alexa was like, yeah, she said that when we walked off, because she was to my left and we were, walking to our right, she said that he actually kind of snickered as I said that. So that was kind of funny.
Hey, he snickered, he farted. It's neither or. He's like, what, 125 now? You just never know.
Whatever.
I'm just joking. Just joking. Really.
Yeah. So, but we, when I bought my tickets, there were two lines. There was a VIP line, and there was like I said, there was a VIP line. Did you ask when he's releasing his one-man Julius Caesar musical? I didn't. I should have. And honestly, so I brought, I have a first edition copy of The Making of Star Trek. It's this little paperback novel type thing. And so I've had other Star Trek actors that I've met sign, and I don't have a lot, but I figured, okay, I'll just default to that one, because I was really thinking, what do I have him sign? It's Bill Shatner. Do I want him to sign a poster? Do I want him to sign, I was thinking I'd like him to sign something that I can actually present, because the book, it's a book. The page that he signs is going to be closed. I defaulted to that because that's kind of where I had everybody else's signatures, and not that I can get anybody else's signatures besides maybe Grace Lee Whitley, Whitney, or however you say her name, because I think everybody else is dead. Oh, except for Walter Koenig. He's still alive. But he is not in the book because it came out, I think, in season 1. So that's kind of unfortunate. Anyway, what was I going to say? But I did bring a copy of my Free Enterprise DVD, which is what Rob is referring to, because in the movie he talks about how he's wanting to do a one-man show of Julius Caesar, and he says, just think about it, William Shatner does William Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. So can
I not make faces? Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm hungry. Sorry. That's my that's my really face. You are such a nerd.
Yes, and you married me.
I needed a place to stay.
Whatever.
Just saying.
So that's what Rob is referring to. And I did try when I went up. I gave the guy the book, and I said, oh, here's this ticket. And he says, and I said 2 signatures, and he's like, 2 tickets. I was like, no. He goes, okay, just 1 signature. I mean, the guy was kind of cool about it, but
Shatner was late. He should have just called people some shit. Let's be honest.
That was Destiny. Are you typing for James? Is that what it is? Is James watching? Is that the other person in the eyeball? I got a couple people watching. Only Rob and Destiny have said hi, so it's got to be somebody that either can't type because they're driving, or they just don't want to say hi. But that's okay. Let's see. But what I'm getting to is they had a VIP line, like I said, and a Group B line. And when I bought my ticket, they were the people were like, "Oh yeah, just go to the end of the line," and pointed down at this long ass line that went all the way to the end. So Alexa and I hiked to the other end of the building, and we get down there, and this, of course, they all had, everybody who is a VIP actually has a VIP badge. And so, what is it? This one gal is like, oh, well, you're in the VIP line. And she comes down. She's, oh, well, this is the VIP line. And I'm like, look, I was just told to stand in this line. I wasn't told anything else. And I said that, that's what those people told me. And so this other woman got really kind of snooty with us. She's like, well, it says VIP on the floor and everyone in line is holding these tickets. And I was like, so I told Alexa to stay where she was. I hiked to the top, back to the front, because there was this little group, that they, going back and forth in this little taped line. And we had, what is it? So I asked, I was like, I asked the ticket, the same gal that told me where to go. I was like, I'm confused. I said, I have a Group B autograph. What line do I stand in? And she goes, oh, this one right here. And I said, then why didn't you tell me that in the beginning? So I motioned for my daughter to come back up. And when I waved her forward, you could just tell she's like, seriously? So it's funny when we're standing in line with Russell for the photo op. He had made some friends. You always make friends when you're standing in line forever waiting for stuff. So he's talking with these people, and he introduces us to them, and we're all kind of talking. And so Alexa, we start talking about why we were in one line versus another line, and she goes, I cannot remember what Alexa called basically the woman that was a little bit snooty. But the couple that was there, the woman just started laughing and laughing and laughing. I wish I could remember. She didn't call her a bitch, but she called her.
She didn't call her Karen.
She didn't call her Karen, but it was really funny. It was super hilarious.
She could have been nicer.
So,
for that.
but yeah, so there's always that. But anyway, it was communication was a little bit less to be desired. Russell said that's actually his third. So the SummerCon has been going on for like 4 years. He said this was his third time. He's gone to a ton of different conventions. I've only been to a handful as an adult. I used to go all the time to the creation conventions when autographs were free, photo ops were free.
That's back in the Stone Age with the dinosaurs.
Whatever.
Old.
And generally it was creation conventions that actually was putting it on. And actually creation convention is or I don't know if they're called creation conventions, but anyway, they are still around and they are the ones that do the big yearly Star Trek convention in Las Vegas. But they used to have them regularly all over the place. And they would bring out one person. So when I saw Patrick Stewart, even though I never did get an autograph or a photo op with him because he just kind of did his panel thing and walked out. But I have a whole different story about that. It was you saw the person, and if they did a photo op or autographs, then you sat down and they sat down and stood in line. And, that's how I got Mark Leonard. That's how I got Sulu, James Doohan, John Delancey, all that kind of stuff. But that's when it was free. Like, it was nice. Now everybody's out for that big, everything is a big con. They have to have a bunch of different people there. So it is what it is. But anyway, Russell basically said it was probably the worst organized or the most unorganized con he's ever been to. This specific one. And then when we go to actually pick up our photos, we when we went to go pick up our photos, of course, all the photos are on the table and we're looking for our picture. I started noticing that between Shatner and whichever group of people were taking a picture, there was this little plexiglass stand that was next to them, because they did put up plexiglass stuff on the tables, for him doing autographs, but he didn't really sit behind them. I mean, he was kind of half sitting behind them, but he engaged beyond the plexiglass. And so, but they had one of these stands that was in between him and whoever was taking a picture, but it was not there for us. And so I thought that, I thought that was kind of interesting. And apparently the guy who was actually doing the photos, who was actually pretty cool, he said that there were people that were not listening. Now, when we got up there, we didn't know if what side to stand on. Because generally, if there's a plexiglass thing, it's like, of course, you can only stand on one side. So even Russell was like, do you want to be on his left side or a right side thing? And we were, and so we didn't know. And so when we came in, they're like, no, only on this side. So, we were like, oh, okay. So we just kind of stood there, took our picture, and I'll show the picture here in a second. But there were people who were wanting to stand behind him, wanting to hug him, wanting to touch him. And Shatner was like, nope, put up a barrier. And he said that he says just people were not listening. So they actually put up the thing. Well, I would say it was VIP privilege, but those were the VIP, those were group A photos. So
James.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so check this out. We've been getting, so that's James watching us.
Here's a better one. Hold on.
Okay. Oh, there we go. I'm glad he's wearing a diaper.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's you. Shatner gets a cold, he could die. Well, he is 90 years old. I did joke about him tattoo or like not about him signing my chest. I don't think he would have done that. Yeah, I know it started gross. Gets a little bit creepy.
It's a little gross.
But I don't know. It was regardless. Besides the communication, it was a pretty good experience. They had a car that from, they had the car from Knight Rider kit. They had that there. And it was funny because I told Alexa as we left, I wanted to get a shot of me and the car. Cause there was nobody at the booth. There was just a car and then this stand-up of David Hasselhoff. And so I was like, I would just go up to this, like taking a picture with David Hasselhoff. I'm like, like that. And I didn't know if I could get in the car or not. But I was like, okay, I'll just, do that. But then when we went by, there were actually people at the booth. They were charging for photos. People were getting you could get in and out of the car. But I was like, no, I'm not, I have pictures of me and my sister at, God, what is it? It was Universal Studios in LA when we went down, because we went to Universal Studios and we went to Disneyland, I think when I was 12. Anyway, so I already have pictures of me and Kit when I was younger, but I'm not going to pay for that as an adult. That's just a little much for me. So I probably should have taken, I should have probably taken the picture earlier. Kit is cool, but not to pay for a cool, pick cool. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. There were some other actors there. It would have been kind of cool for, to meet Ray Park, but again, for him, line was a little bit long. You got to pay. Like, I didn't have anything for him to sign. I wasn't just gonna, buy just a regular photo for him to sign. And I didn't want to pay for that either. So I don't know. Just, it is what it is.
I don't think it should be. It is what it is, because without the fans, they wouldn't be where they are. And with us getting back to normal after COVID and, being quarantined and all that different stuff, it's like, let's go back to the original and just be happy that people are willing to get out and want to see you, period. Everything shouldn't have to cost
an almighty
dollar, because in essence, that they're coming there, they're getting paid to be there anyway. Come on. Like, if you didn't have your fans, you'd have nobody. Maybe your family, but who wants that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Rob has a story that he told me. I can't remember who it was that he met, but he was just talking to these people and they were like, "Oh yeah, sure, we'll sign stuff." And then as he's walking away, one of the event people were like, "That's $5 of signature." And he's like, "Excuse me, there's no signs."
That's not how that works.
Yeah.
That's not how that works. That's cute that you said that.
Yeah.
That's cute you think you can get money from me, but that's not how that works.
Oh, it was the cast from Farscape. And so there, just, and there wasn't a lot there. It was, I think it was just, what was it? Just you and them. I mean, there wasn't a lot of people around. So he's just having this conversation and, yeah. And even the actors were just like, excuse me, like, what the hell? And so he's fine here, just, throw him some money. And then later on in the day, it was you could hear, oh, these people are now doing these people are now here doing signatures, and it's going to cost. I think what do you say? The cost went up twice when they were doing like an overhead message, and then because the cast got pissed, they were like, yeah, we're just going to leave early. So they were like, oh, today only, today only.
Wow.
So yeah, it was yeah. When Rob told me that story, I'm just like, that's just crazy. So yeah, this is absolutely nuts. But that's the convention life. At least now that's what we've been. And here's the thing is, like, locally, the only conventions that were really going on, there was the Rose City Comic Con, and that was truly a comic book convention. That was, they did not have actors from other stuff. They didn't do any voice people. It was a comic book convention. And so you went, and if you were looking for comic books that you're trying to find to complete your collection, that's where you went. And that's where you would meet artists from, like, Dark Horse's first run at the Aliens comics. I have the first series 1 through 6, and I think maybe the first or second comics, I have it signed by the artist and the writer, and because they were all there. It was because it was a true comic convention. And then Creation at least brought the local stuff. But you did have the bigger cons where, like, San Diego Comic Con and Emerald City Comic Con. So you got way south and not super way north of me, but it was these bigger conventions. And then I think the first convention that really was super big that we went to that hadn't was Wizard World?
Something like that.
I think Wizard World. And so we went to the first Wizard World, and that was the first one that I had gone to where there were a bunch of different people. And I can't remember
was that the one we went to together?
Yeah, that was the one that we went to together.
That was an experience.
Yeah. So they had artists and comic book people and whatever.
Yeah. It was everything.
So that was kind of one of the first ones that I went to, and that was
everything. It was nice.
Oh, and we went there because
Walking Dead.
Norman Reedus.
Yes.
So we primarily went there for a photo op for Norman Reedus, and so that was fun. But and I think the next year, Shatner was there, but the
cost was outrageous.
The cost was absolutely outrageous. So yeah, I just it was a little bit insane. But and I think Wizard World came for 3 years, but they haven't been back. And I don't know if they shut down because of COVID, that they just aren't around anymore. But Alexa and I went to Rose City Comic Con last year. That's when Sulu was there. And Rose City Comic Con is coming around this year again in September. And theirs is always in September. But it's they're going to have a bunch of different people there, but nobody from Star Trek so far. Billy D. Williams is going to be there, so I might go for Billy D. Williams. One of the Doctors is going to be there, but I'm not I like Doctor Who, but I'm not a super big Doctor Who fan. So
David Tennant.
Yeah, but I might go because you basically go for the signatures and the photo ops. But unless of course you're super, super rich and are collecting specific things, Like I collect specific things. I'm just not rich enough to collect the things that I want. In fact, we were there. Okay. So there was this one table that was selling like sci-fi Legos, and they had the 20 bazillion piece Star Destroyer, the one that's like $700, the one that's like 8 feet long. And Alexa's like, she's like, Dad, I've got all summer to put this together. Like, no, absolutely not. Nikki's always said she wanted to have a booth at conventions spraying people with deodorant and body spray.
That's a good one. Thank you so very much. Public service.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
That's a free booth.
That's fantastic.
I don't know about body spray, but I like the deodorant. Maybe we should just Lysol everybody just because. Do a curtain of sanitizer as they walk through.
Yeah. When Creation had their conventions, they had the panel room and they had the dealer room. And so actually let me go back one. The first convention that I went to that there were multiple people there. It was Mark Leonard and some dude from Babylon 5. I think I've told that story because I was standing in line for Mark Leonard's signature, and I was just kind of awkwardly standing in front of the guy from Babylon 5, and he says, "Oh, do you want my signature?" And I'm like, "Sorry, dude, I really don't like your show, so I don't really have anything for you to sign." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And he was kind of cool about it. And I was polite, and I was like, "But you know what?" I said, "One of my friends, he loves your show, so you know what? I said, how, because basically the autograph was free, but if you wanted to buy a photo, you spent like $20 on a photo. So I spent $20, got a photo of the guy. He signed it to Tony. And then, but that was the first one that they had multiple people at, but it was just 2. That's all it was. But anyway, so they had a dealer room and a panel room. And most of the time it's just the dealer room that they're in, because the panel is only, the star only goes up for like an hour or 2 hours or whatever. And for questions. And then they have whatever cosplay that they were doing, but I don't remember cosplay being a super big thing at the Creation conventions. Even though for a time I did wear my Starfleet uniform. Yes. But I always thought of having a booth where I sold DVDs, not necessarily books, but DVDs of basically science fiction, martial arts, and self-defense, because that was actually, doing like Batleth training or the Clink or even the Makbara, and having this, teaching people self-defense with it. That's been on my mind forever. Like that's, so like with the Neck Pinch book and the Makbara, that's just something that's something recent. But my whole idea of just having a booth and trying to get nerds to be able to defend themselves,
Sure. They're nerds.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not going to happen. Whatever. So, so that's my big, let's see. There we go. I'm down for some sci-fi inspired self-defense series. Anything that you want to talk about, babe?
Oh, now I can talk.
Well, I was just telling my convention
We're 3 hours into this, and he's like, "Now you can talk to everybody." It's all good.
She's just on here because she's pretty.
Oh, for the love of George. You're such a dick.
She loves me anyway.
Still need a place to stay. I'm just joking. Why you rolling your eyes and shaking your head?
All right. Let's see. So actually, we'll add this. So upcoming shows. Actually, we'll do this. Oh, that?
Yeah.
Or that?
No,
that. Let's not make people sick. Okay. So upcoming nerd shows. On the 22nd, we've got part 6 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is the final episode. I think now you've only watched the first 2, haven't you? Or maybe up to part 3. All right. So what we'll have to do is because I want to do this, I want to watch all of them and then part 6. So we got to put that into your binge watching stuff.
So I got to put Perry Mason on the side.
Yeah.
Oh man.
We've got on the 23rd, we've got the Orville episode 4.
I hate that show right now.
Yeah, it's not
really
it's
bad.
not the greatest. And then Strange Worlds episode 8, which I know you're several episodes behind. We got to get you up. And then I didn't save it. Okay, so we've been watching Stranger Things, and now we're actually in season 4. We were up until 3:00 in the morning. I might have to.
I was up until 3:00 in the morning. This one was over here snoring during the episode that we were watching. Snoring. You might want to watch while I'm at school cleaning my little space. Because I got to go to school today.
I think that was the last episode that I only caught bits and pieces of because I think it was episode 5.
Have we gotten that far?
I think, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. Because it's like, oh, we're going to watch this episode. And it's like, yeah, it's midnight. We can put in another episode.
I don't have school.
Yeah, she doesn't have school. And then it's like, I think we went to bed we went downstairs.
Okay, hold on. So I have the remote and we're watching it and we're like, what just happened? What just happened? So I was like, should we watch another episode? And he's over here like it's the biggest question I've ever asked him in his life, thinking, I don't know. Click, new episode. I think I did that like 3 times. Oh yeah, we might be on 5.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so I do have that up there because on Netflix, it only says up to episode 7, but on July 1st, episode 8 and 9 drop,
which they're over an hour a piece.
Yeah.
They're
well,
long
no.
episodes.
So normally these episodes are like what, between 45 and 50 minutes long.
About 54 minutes long. Mm-hmm.
These episodes, season 4 episodes, are like an hour and 15 minutes on average. And then the last episode, according to IMDb, episode 7 is like an hour and a half long. And episode 8 is an hour and a half long. And episode 9 is like over 2 hours long.
I'm just going to tell you, episode 8 clocks in at 1 hour and 25 minutes, and the grand finale runs 2 hours and 30 minutes.
That's insane. They couldn't make like a 12 episode series.
No, that's not how that works. This isn't the 1980s, even though the show is focused in the 1980s. It's not the 1980s.
So what was it? Was it part of season 2? I think it was. I can't remember what season we were on. I mean, it's not like
it's 3 because you didn't like the squeeze boxes. Is that what you're about to talk about?
What do you mean the squeeze boxes?
The videos, the squeeze boxes, the squeeze box videos that actually came out in the 90s. Oh, and now I'm old.
What?
They work in the video store and they were putting away the movies.
No, that's not. Okay. So there is
why I only come.
There actually is an inconsistency in season 4 because season 4 takes place in 1986, and when Steve is putting videos away, there's DVDs or the DVDs, the videos are in what are called squeeze boxes, and it's basically this plastic sleeve that goes over the box, and you squeeze it, and the video falls out.
VHS. I'm sorry, it's not a DVD.
The tape falls out. Well, they don't show you him taking any of the videos out, but the plastic covering the box, that's what they're using to cover the box. Like, I can see it because that's what we used at Hollywood Video towards the end. And so those didn't come out until the late 90s, early 2000s. So
it was mid 90s, early 2000s, because we both worked at video stores.
No, but your store didn't have the squeeze boxes that they were showing on there. They did have just the crappy plastic that went around and protected the box. Because they did actually have the big Amaray big plastic cases, but they didn't have.
No, ours were boxes cut and they were put into the sleeve.
Oh, that's right.
That's
how yours.
Yes.
Okay, but anyway, I noticed that watching season 4.
So then, what was your problem with it? What was your problem with this thing that I interrupted your thought?
So I had originally watched season 1. We had originally watched season 1, but we rewatched it. Okay. And I remember when season 2 came out, there was just very little interest in watching the show. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Just, it is what it is. There was nothing saying I must watch this. And even watching it, it's like, I must watch this. Now, as we've been watching it, it is an entertaining show. I mean, there are things where it's like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? But really, all the really good shit happens in the last 2 episodes. Truly. That's where it really is. The story becomes really, really interesting and is in the last 2 episodes. All the other episodes, yes, they're filler and they get you set up for this, but you don't really have to watch them.
That's not true. You do have to watch. Don't listen to
whatever. Him. But what?
Don't whatever me. You have to watch that.
But what? Okay, for you. But what's entertaining, Bill? Hey, Bill. But what's entertaining is the nostalgia, the music, the little things like, oh gosh, I remember that from when I was a kid. Like it's that I think turns me on to the show, but it's not something that really is like, oh, I have to watch the show. But this got me thinking.
Oh my God.
No.
I'm listening.
This got me thinking. So, Strange New Worlds. Okay. Strange New Worlds takes place in the original series timeline. And there's some things about the show that are just like, oh, that's so cool, because they're connecting dots between Pike's stuff and the original series with Kirk. And there's a lot of nostalgia going on. Okay. That they did not have in Discovery. So would Strange New Worlds still be a good show if there wasn't the nostalgia aspect of it? That's something that something that I kind of started thinking about watching Stranger Things, is that relating this to other stuff, because when you have God, what's it called? Lower Decks. Okay. So the Lower Decks episodes that I really enjoyed were the ones where there was lots of nostalgia attached to it. There were some, I can't remember the episode name. It was the one where the main security officer guy, the Bajoran, I think he's a Bajoran. The main Bajoran security guy is he can't pronounce Mugatu or the whatever the white ape with a horn. He can't he pronounce it every time he watches it, or every time he says it, he pronounces it wrong. For some reason, like, I don't know, that the episode was just not a very good episode. And but I remember there wasn't a lot of nostalgia put to it.
I think it also depends on the way that they present the nostalgia. That's a huge thing.
Well, Rob says, I think it would be because of the quality of the scripts, last week excluded, that are character driven. However, that's a good point. Yeah, last week's episode kind of it was.
Well, but regardless, episode. I think that looking at Stranger Things, that does take us back to the 80s when we were in high school and, you know, going into high school just like these guys. That the 80s isn't like what you see nowadays where everybody's wearing bright fucking colors and it's day glow and all that stuff. And the 80s wasn't actually like that. This is showing what the 80s really was and how everybody's hair was and the clothes that they had and the styles and just the things that they did. And it just is like true. Like I can look at, they were in a store and they had the cereal and they had the different things that were in there where everything, like, it really had the look. And I think that that's important. Whether your acting is good or not, if you can bring me back to where you need me to go, the acting kind of goes with it. Like, yes, the acting is extremely important. You've already clued me into it because I'm on season 4 and the same characters, we're watching them grow. But I think that if any of the shows that you watch hadn't gone back in the right way, hadn't brought the nostalgia in the right way, it wouldn't have caught your attention. Because you've talked about some shows where they've tried to do that and you're like, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. They didn't do this right. And it just turns you off for that particular show. And when you have somebody who is truly proud in their craft and is truly like wanting to do justice to what it is, that to make an original something that's original, which we don't have nowadays, and what we need is awesome. And a lot of things are just remakes, and the remakes, they don't do it well. And I think that for a show that goes back to the 80s and had a new twist on it, I think it's been great. I think it's been awesome. Yeah, most of the episodes are fillers, but I mean, it just depends.
Rob is, what's up with the 80s neon? I don't remember the Saved by the Bell wardrobe being anywhere but on TV.
Thank you for saying that, because I'm like, 80s was not neon. That was the last thing I know I wanted to wear in the 80s was neon. Now, mind you, I wear a lot of neon now, but we didn't want to be seen. I mean, like, you had your the people who wore black,
mm-hmm.
and then you had it was more patterns. I think it was a lot more patterns and stuff, or prep. And we're talking like old school prep with the preppy collars and the argyles and the basic jeans and just basic shit. Now this fucking fluorescent shit from the 80s. What the hell?
It was the Miami Vice pastels. That's
somebody must have told one of those stars that they look good in this certain color, and they're like, we're gonna do a whole show about it.
Yeah. Not that I didn't wear t-shirts and sports coats that I pulled at my sleeves up to the elbows.
Yeah, but that's totally different than to look back and be like, your Miami Vice outfit was, a bright green sports coat and a dumbass t-shirt. Like, come on.
Acid wash jeans.
Yes. I mean, the fads weren't all that bad. Hey,
Bonnie. So we got lots of people watching now. I guess they just have to wake up on time. Living in Florida, that may have been legit clothing in Miami.
And I get that, but it's like, we're talking in California. Do you remember when you went to go visit California? I don't remember going to California in the 80s with people wearing that kind of shit.
All I remember from the 80s is the really bad hairdos. I could
with
not,
the bangs
and it
and
was
the hair that was like huge for the girls, and it was like, whoa, their hair was bigger than their actual head.
it was.
Ah,
Here's the thing.
shit was funny.
It was worse. It was worse down in small town California, because my dad lived in my dad lived in Trinidad, which was a population of like 402 people, and he and the nearest big town was Arcata, which is where Humboldt State University is located, and then just like 10 minutes beyond that is Eureka. So you have Arcadia and Eureka are the bigger towns, and I think the closest high school was it was in McKinleyville. Oh my God, I can't actually remember that. McKinleyville, which was a smaller town but bigger than Trinidad, but smaller than Arcata, but it was in between. And so if I had actually grown up down there, I would have gone to I can't remember the high school name, but it was there. So,
Well, but I also, now that I think about it, I'm like, okay, so
the hair and the styles was worse in the smaller towns than it was in the bigger towns.
But also, okay, so then we're talking about the styles. You look at they're in a lot of those pretty in pink. Yes, but what's funny is I think let's go back to black hairstyles back then, 80s. We had curls. We didn't have straight hair. We had like Coming to America curls with the drippy shit in it. And that was black hairstyles. And I look at what they've got. They've got the girls wearing the straight hair that's been, curled and, blow dried and all that stuff. So their hairstyles are like everybody else's, but that's not how the hairstyle. Very seldom did you get a girl that was black that had straight hair, or long hair per se, because most of the time her hair was in a curl. So I'm like, And then I've got friends who are sitting here telling me that little girl, Erica, is like me. And I'm like,
you can't spell America without Erica.
She is so not like me. And I'm just like, now mind you, she's got her shit together and she can talk her ass off, but that's not me. Like, I'm not getting the correlation between the two of us. I mean, yeah, I'm a pain in the ass. She's a pain in the ass, but that's about it.
She's kind of that. She's
sassy.
She's a sassy little bitch, is what she is.
Oh, is that what it is? That's the correlation.
So I guess
sassy bitch. Put those two together. That's Lisa when she was in 8th grade. I was quiet in middle school, by the way. I was not anything like this. Middle school, high school, very quiet. College, not so much.
So as you get older, you get worse. Is that
absolutely?
What it is? Oh, yay me! Look what I get to.
Okay, witnesses. Body oopsies. Great, Mish. Very nice.
Hey. Okay. So anyway, so we're gonna, let's see, as we're gonna we do have school stuff that we need to do today, because I need to do stuff at school, teach, all that kind of stuff. So we'll probably end up watching Stranger Things, finishing that up later tonight, or maybe even by the end of next week, because the episodes are so damn long. But at least we'll get
summer school. I have summer school training the next 2 days. So.
Yeah. So, but
6 hours a day. What the hell?
Yeah. And then we've got what is it? Voyager. So Voyager, by the end of this week, will be through Voyager.
Okay. He has Voyager.
It's the year of track.
Okay. He. Don't say we. Okay. That's not a me. That's a him.
All right. So martial arts stuff going on. So on Saturday, next Saturday, we have Roy Miller's training lab at noon. I've made some schedule changes. So on the 2nd, we're going to have self-defense class for those people who don't go out of town for the 4th of July. But the 2nd, we're actually going to be closed on the 4th. which is Monday for the holiday, but I am going to have a self-defense class. It says, yeah, I think I'll still do it at 1. July 9th, for you people who are local, we are going to have.
For those of you that are local.
What did I say?
You people that are local. Those of you that are local and would like to come see the place, we have our grand opening on July 9th.
So we're doing an open house from noon until 4. We're gonna. That's the next big promotion thing that I'm gonna start for the school. Basically, it's that we're just trying to bring people in, let people know that we're around. So I'll create a Facebook event, some memes. So if, as you see them pop up, please share them, and please come in, see the school. We'll all be there I don't have all the details of exactly what we're going to do, but I figure we'll have free popcorn. Maybe every 30 minutes or every 20 minutes, I'll do like a 5 or 10 minute little self-defense class. And then we'll have like little giveaways. I was thinking about having like, getting different gift cards, and then having some free lesson, like free months of lessons thrown in there too. So, you put your hand in like a fish jar and pull it out.
You know what? He talks a lot. Just come to the open house,
but anyway,
and you'll see what's going on, and there'll be some awesome things that you'll be able to partake. And, if you're looking to have somebody that you love take martial arts and do some self-defense, this is the place to go, and this is the place to be. And you can come meet the person who's in charge of that and have some fun and get some free things. He doesn't need to tell everything. You got to leave something through the imagination.
No, but see, also, Lisa, this isn't just promoting that. This is also, I talk about the different things that I like. I
understand that, but you don't need to talk about everything. You've talked about a lot today. It's a lot.
On Friday, Rob and I had an over 2-hour show.
I'm so sorry, people. I understand. I hope y'all got up and went to the bathroom a couple of times. I get it.
Do a virtual tour event for the channel.
We might do that. That sounds like a good idea.
That's actually kind of cool. Yeah, we'll have to throw that in. So, so we get to meet Lisa, who runs things, and be introduced to Mish, who is teaching there.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
The woman behind the man.
So we have
who runs everything.
So we have our open house. And then the next weekend. So July, like we got stuff going on July 15th through the 17th, we have Bram Frank's birthday bash. So he'll be here for those days. It says June 23rd. It's really July 23rd. That next weekend is another training lab, August 6th. And I want to have more self-defense classes peppered in through not just once a month, but I was trying to think of maybe doing it every other weekend.
Ooh, for the summer, that would
for
be
the summer
to be so that, because we know that where I work, there's no cameras, and we're getting a new school in January, and so with everything that's going on, a lot of people have stated that they didn't feel comfortable walking to their cars by themselves. And so I think it's a great idea to have the bi-weekly, depending on how it goes, self-defense classes or just seminars, so that, we can get people feeling safe again before school starts.
So one date I might put in there is July 30th, I think, is the next Saturday. So it's like the first Saturday and the last Saturday of July, and then just kind of go from there. But then we've got all the other kind of seminars that are going on throughout, all through. So that's kind of seminar and class wise, what's going on. Bobby there. Yeah. The birthday bash. Got to have the birthday bash. Got somebody else, somebody who signed up, who's never signed up before. So we're going to have somebody new there, Bobby. So, let's see. I think I had mentioned before the booth that we're going to have at the Union Volleyball Grass Tournament. That date was pushed forward, so that's actually on Thursday the 18th. So, and then if you're ever in the area of for any of the other things where you've got Jim Corn's thing in Indiana, you've got something in Jacksonville that same weekend. And I think there's something else happening that weekend. There's like 3 or 4 different seminars happening on the 24th. I think there's a Dragon Society thing happening in South Carolina. I can't remember. Anyway, and then HKI camp in October and Danny's thing in November. So lots of stuff still going on, but really and it's funny. I do this all the time. I'm using the little cursor. You guys can't see it, but I always use the cursor like I'm kind of pinpointing stuff down like I'm giving a slideshow. Like you guys can actually see the cursor, but it is what it is. So because even as I talk, I'm circling dates, but you guys can't see it. I guess it's for my own enjoyment. So yeah, so there you go. There's all things that are happening. As things move forward with different events, we'll let you guys know more, but specifically the open house, really trying to get people there. So as I make events and I post them, please share them on your social medias. That would be really appreciated. So, all right. So we're going to bring this thing to a close. You have any final words?
I'm pretty awesome. I just wanted everybody to know that.
I have to live with this.
Yeah, and you do. Suck it up.
All right. Well, my tea is gone, so it's time to end the show. Oh, yes. And humble too.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, is that what we're calling it now?
All right, Bobby, you have a good day. Bonnie's true statement. That Lisa's awesome.
Appreciate.
Yeah.
Both.
And we miss you too, Bill.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll be able to see each other soon. All right. So until tomorrow, because, well, you're not going to be here tomorrow.
I'll be in
training.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So until tomorrow, we will, or I will see you later. So